everyone, and today we're back into another top 5. And today we're going to be talking about the top 5 melee tanks in all of Loomian Legacy. So these are Loomians that are really tanky on the melee side. So if they're not too tanky on the range side, they don't count for the list. So yeah, the top 5 melee tanks. Let's head right to it right now. But before we do that, we are doing another giveaway. We are doing the Alpha Akalos giveaway, as this Loomian, it's a Gleam Room. It's an Alpha Akalos. It's not the rarest thing in the book, but hey, it's something. If you say Alpha Akalos in the comments below, I will give you a number, and then I will spin the wheel, and if your number is picked, you will win the Alpha Akalos. And this Alpha Akalos says, let's head right into this top 5. So yeah, number 5 under the list is actually going to be very interesting because it's Mutagon. And Mutagon is mainly known as a hard-hitting melee attacker, but people tend to forget that he has 134 melee defense and 107 health. And with the tank Mutagon, you can tank any hit in the game, especially on the melee side. Yes, you can live a Phantom Slash hit from Vesperatu. You can live any super effective hit. You can live pretty much any melee hit in the game. The only things that can kill you is quite potentially a ranged Vesperatu or a ranged Duskin in one shot. And that is insane. And even if you don't run tank and run the secret ability, you're going to live a lot of hits. You could live 2 nosedives from an Avitross. You can live a bunch of hits from any melee attacker, and Mutagon just seems to tank every single hit on the melee side. It doesn't tank that much on the range side, but its brawn boosting and priority capabilities, while also being able to tank hits, is the reason why Mutagon is one of the most broken Loomians in the game, and can even be used as a tank. While not as effective as its quick punching form with Heavy Fist, it is still a very tanky Loomian, and that's why Mutagon is in the top 5. I mean, it makes sense. I mean, 134 melee defense is nothing to scalp over. And that's number 5. Number 4 into the list is gonna be a pre-evolution, because it's Makoro. And I can understand that you could put Surkame up here, but Makoro is amazing. It has 101 melee defense for a pre-evolution. If you combine Drop of Youth with it, it has the most melee defense in the entire game. Yes, as a pre-evolution with Drop of Youth, it will be the most melee tanky Loomian in the entire game. And it has Body Crash and Rejuvenate. Makoro is amazing. And this can even be considered better than Surkame, although Surkame does hit harder on the range side, so people will still use Surkame for that reason. But as an overall tank, especially on the melee side, Makoro is way tankier. And with Body Crash, makes it hit very, very hard. And with the fact that it has Rejuvenate, makes Makoro really, really scary. Definitely one of the best melee tanks in the entire game, which is crazy because it's a pre-evolution. But the reason why it's not in the top 3 is because the top 3 melee tanks are probably the best Loomians in the game, so yeah, the top 3 Loomians are very, very tanky and have a lot going for them. So let's head to them right now. Number 3 onto the list is actually going to be Sidragon. So, Sidragon, it's an ancient type Loomian with really high defense, but it has a lot of coverage, has an ability that increases its melee defense after you take a hit, has 99 base HP, 124 base melee defense, which is lower than the Mutagon, but it's the ability. Resilience gives it extra melee defense, making Body Crash hit insanely hard. It also has insane coverage. Like, it has Ancient Stab that can hit the spirit types that Body Crash is immune to. Earthquake can hit those fire types. Mega Chomp can hit those light types. Like, it has a lot of coverage on the offensive side, and even though it is a very solid defensive Loomian, it can hit a lot of different Loomians, which makes Sidragon really scary. And it has Beast Slumber, which increases its melee and range defense, while also healing its health and energy. It is number 3 and not in the top 2, but despite that, it is still one of the best melee tanks in the game. Although there is a resilience user that is a little bit better, this one is a lot better for hitting a lot of different typings, and it's a lot easier to slot into teams, at least compared to the top 2. But Sidragon, being in the top 3, makes a lot of sense. Definitely one of the best melee tanks in all of Loomian Legacy right here. It can pretty much live any melee hit in the entire game, and that's why it's in the top 3. Number 2 onto the list is going to be weird because it's going to be Ventation. And I know some people are thinking that Ventation has fallen off because of Tundralin. But people tend to forget that it has 90 base HP and 142 melee defense. That's most in the entire game. 142 melee defense is insane. But I honestly think Ventation is better than Tundralin in some areas. Mainly, its ability. Sharp Edges is an amazing ability. Sharp Edges makes any melee hit that hits you will make them take chip damage. And even though it's only a little bit, that chip damage adds up if you're constantly swapping into melee attackers. Like if there's a Vesperatu that takes chip, a Himberg that can take chip, any melee attacker can just tank any hit. It's amazing. And this is a +6 Ursul. And we all know that Ursul is one of the most broken Loomians in the entire game. +6 Ursul cannot take out +6 Ventation. But +6 Ventation is better than +6 Ursul. And even better, Geyser has a chance to burn. And plus, Water Bug offensively can just hit a lot of different typings in general, which just gives Ventation a massive advantage. And that's why Ventation is number 2, despite people saying it's replaced by Tundralin. Because, yeah, Sharp Edges and also Water Bug offensive makes it really good, even though it doesn't have Rejuvenate. But we all know who the best melee tank in the game is. The best melee tank in the game is Tundralin. And no one is shocked that Tundralin's number 1. Resilience, Body Crash, Bulk Up, Rejuvenate. Yes, Tundralin is again number 1. And yes, it's again the most broken Loomian in all of Loomian Legacy. Because yeah, you get melee defense increase, you got Bulk Up, you got Body Crash, you got Rejuvenate. This has a bit of everything for a melee tank, and it can live pretty much any melee hit in the entire game. Tata Jungle Jitsu lives. Wrestling with Ace and Very Brawny lives. It can pretty much live any melee hit in the entire game. And all multi-hitting moves, oh, you go to +2 melee defense. And with Body Crash, just like with other melee tanks, you get to hit extra hard in return. And that's why Tundralin is number 1. And by far, the best melee tank in all of Loomian Legacy. It makes sense. I mean, it's even... not even Mutagon can do that much work to it, and it says a lot that not even a lot of these Loomians that hit for super effective even can penetrate through. Like, it pretty much nullifies 95% of melee attackers, which says a lot. There's no other Loomian that nullifies as many attackers as Tundralin, and that's why Tundralin is easily number 1 on this list. So here it is, Tundralin, the most broken melee tank on the list, and also the best melee tank in the entire game. I hope you guys enjoyed this video of me talking about the top melee tanks. If you want me to do ranged tanks as well, I'll make a video on that in the future. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see y'all all later. Bye-bye!